Yes. Good morning. Welcome to the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City's morning docket. Today is Thursday, November 8th, 2018. We're going to be hearing violations this morning at the 11 a.m. docket. When your case is called, do you please step up to the microphone, state your name clearly into the microphone. If you're going to be giving testimony, please be prepared to be sworn in. If you have an electronic device, I would ask that you silence it or put it on vibrate now. May I call the first case?
You may, please.
Calling Hak Jun Lee and Roosevelt Tyler, Lee L&M Incorporated, trading as L&M Liquors, 1148 East North Avenue. It is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who have not appeared before the Liquor Board before, I wanted to let you know that we are both recorded and televised. So when you come up and after you're sworn, if you're going to speak, you need to speak into the microphones here so that your voice can be picked up. And before you speak, if you would please just indicate your name and spell it for the reporter who's to my far left. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Frank Schullis, and I'm representing the applicant or the licensee, Mr. Lee.
Good morning. Would those who are going to testify raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
Mr. Shawless, your client is charged with a sale to minor on September 25 of this year. Will you be admitting or denying the offense?
We'll be admitting, Your Honor, with an explanation of some sort.
You may give us your explanation.
What happened here is that Mr. In the courtroom in the back row to my right is his mother and his sister. The person who served it, the cadet, is the sister, and she is a disabled person. His father has died, and he takes care of his mother and his sister. His sister works in the store because the mother's not capable of taking care of her at home. And she serves the cadet. She does serve customers, but on a kind of a limited basis. Now, he was here in March on a violation. Again, it was his sister who served the cadet. He was under a lot of pressure at that time, and he was upset, and that was the first violation.
It wasn't his first violation.
It was his first violation.
Well, this license was transferred in '07, and this would be the fourth sale to minor.
It was transferred again in February, or I'm sorry, I think it was May of 2015.
Is that accurate, Mr. Akris?
Mr. Chair, it's the same corporation. You may have transferred individual licensees, but the same corporation owned the license.
I guess that's right and wrong.
Okay.
But at any rate, I thought...
mean, they may have changed their ownership interest in the corporation, but the corporation's remained on the license for 11 years.
Yeah, the same corporation, yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Shawless, can I ask you a question, Mr. Chairman?
Mm-hmm.
The police report suggests that there was a male that served the alcohol, but you're suggesting it was a female.
Well, we have the cadet here. Police report says it both ways. I looked at that and I was going to raise that issue.
Okay.
But if the cadet
But
can
he's here.
point out the person that
Do
served...
you know who served you?
I need
I-
Dickerson. I need your first name.
Jaquan, Jaquan.
Or do you know if it was male or female?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Well,
You
she's
don't
in the
recall, or you weren't sure?
I don't recall.
Okay.
She's in the courtroom.
I see.
That's all right. It's an admission. I just was trying to get clarification.
Okay. It sounds like your client has a problem in that I understand that he's got these burdens and that this is not an easy thing for him, but if his sister continues to sell to cadets, he's going to be back here on a regular basis.
We absolutely understand, and He is trying to address that issue as best he can, and it will be addressed because he doesn't want to come up here and pay fines any more than an attorney.
My sister said that he hit his face. That day it was like very.
So
Please.
what else is he doing to fix this issue?
Well, he's trying to find some more help in the place, and trying to find some more help at home. It's a difficult situation. It has been for a long time. It's nothing new.
Okay. Was the licensee cooperative? Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No.
All right. Anything
I
further,
would
Mr.
just ask
Shoulders?
for some consideration on the fine, because I thought it was a first offense last time, and it was a pretty heavy fine.
Well, they don't get any lighter. So on the basis of the proffer and admission from counsel and the testimony received and the materials contained in the charging documents, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on September 25, 2018. I understand the mitigation, and I'm sympathetic to Mr. Lee's situation, but we can't continue to have these, so it's the fourth time. I'd impose a $1,500 fine and give him 30 days to pay it.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on September 25th, 2018, and given that this is the fourth violation of this kind, I agree with the $1,500 fine and 30 days to pay.
So I'm actually going to disagree with my colleagues. I would, although I'm in the minority here, at this point, I would have I would have found the violation of Rule 4.01A, would have imposed a $2,500 fine and a 5-day suspension to give this licensee time to get his affairs in order.
Okay, so it's a 2-to-1 vote. It's going to be a $1,500 fine, 30 days to pay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, former State Police Department report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Malice. Thank you.
Calling the next case, Johannes Halley, Aaron Gotium Nagasi, and Eden Solomon, 7-Day Store LLC, trading as 7-Day Store, 3939 Edmondson Avenue. This is a Class A beer, wine, liquor license, a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Counsel.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees. With me to my immediate right is Mr. Johannes Hille, one of the licensees and the person who was on duty and served the cadet on the evening.
Okay, but all those who are going to testify, raise their right hands, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So, Mr. Previs, when your client was served with this, it was under the 10-day notice, and he indicated to the board that he wanted to proceed with this today and waive the 10-day period. Is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman.
that's fine. Okay, is it going to be an admission or denial?
An admission.
All right. What would you like to tell the board?
Mr. Hille, on the that evening, it was about 10 till 11, and he was in the process of closing, and he explains to me that he was not only tired but distracted by his duties of closing, and he just let his guard down and did in fact serve Cadet Dickerson on that evening. The premises has been open since, or transferred June 26 of 17. This is his first offense. He is the full-time operator. He's there all the time, and he's attempting to be very vigilant. He had his alcohol awareness, to be very vigilant not to have any other events like this.
Okay. We have some correspondence regarding this, and we have people who want to testify about it. Are you aware of the correspondence, Mr.
I am not.
Previs? You want to take a look at this, and would you like to speak, please?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, how are you? I'm Councilman Christopher Burnett. I represent District 8, and I also happen to live in this immediate area. And you should have received correspondence from the several community groups, the Edmondson Village Community Association and the Edgewood Community Association. And unfortunately, we didn't get the correspondence in time from the Allendale Association. But these are neighborhood groups that represent families in that corridor. And, you know, I spoke to all of them, and they've had some concerns about this particular location. There were, and again, this is not about violence, but there has been a significant, and I'll submit this, amount of larceny and violence in that particular corridor in the 3900 block. I understand you can't necessarily attribute that to the store, but it's directly across the street from another liquor store within feet. And the concern that the community has raised is that this type of behavior is detrimental to what we're trying to accomplish in the community. And what you'll see in the Edgewood testimony is that they have made attempts to work with and include this particular business in the Edgewood Association and the Business Association for Edmondson Avenue, of which this particular owner has not participated in that process. And I'll also add that this is very proximal to a 21st century school. Wildwood Elementary School is walking distance to this, and so I was deeply disturbed to see that the store would sell to a minor or a cadet minor, especially when there's so many young people who are crossing Edmondson Avenue going to and from school, and such a large investment in this area in a brand new school. You know, this is an Inspire zone where we're trying to turn around this corridor, and we really need business partners that are willing to work with the community, that are attentive to the customers that are coming in and out, that are making sure that they are IDing customers when they come in and out, especially with so many kids in that community, and just here to say that, you know, I fully support the community's position that, you know, action needs to be taken to hold licensees accountable to be good neighbors, be good stewards of the business. And so that's why I came here today to, on behalf of the community groups and as a resident of that particular neighborhood, that we have to do better.
Yeah. Councilman, you realize that this individual, these licensees have had the license for just a little over 1 year, and this is their first time before the board. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I understand that, you know, that the license changed, but, you know, there are, when I first encountered this store, I came in 2016. It was under the previous owner. There were several health violations, and so you got to understand from the community's perspective that they feel that this is a continuation of a bad partner, not knowing that there may be a change, but from their perspective, if the violation, you have yet another or a violation that has occurred under this owner. There were health violations previously. There's been this particular area was selected to have a city watch camera because of the violence and loitering that occurs at that particular corner. Again, not trying to place it on this particular owner, but just saying that the community who's been here for 10, 15, 20 years, these members have been working really hard to turn around that particular corridor, and we just hope that this is the first and the last violation of this type, because we really expect and demand better in my district.
But my hope is, the community calls upon us to revoke the license, which is unlikely, I think, under the circumstances, but it should be a wake-up call. He's moved into business into a difficult area, and he's going to have a community watching over him, and he needs to make friends with them if he wants to be successful. So I hope, Mr. Previous, you'll have a conversation with him
I will,
about those things.
Mr. Chairman, if I can say to Mr. Councilman as well, is that my client he speaks English, but he's from a different culture, and he's a little timid in reaching out to others. So if I can assist in the communication,
You may need to.
I know that that he's trying to be a good neighbor. He did an extensive amount of work when he bought this store. He almost walked through the floor. It was like nothing there. He did a lot of work. He's cleaned the place up. He's there. He's hands-on. He's there all the time.
Well, perhaps you could help.
More than happy to open a line of communication.
You know that the councilman's interested. You know these groups are interested. So, Mr. Previous, if you're with your experience, if you can't facilitate that, I don't know who can.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Were they cooperative? The commissioners have questions?
No questions.
I'll receive those documents into evidence. Commissioner Hafey, did you have anything?
Nothing.
Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer from council, the admission, and the testimony that we've received today, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on September 25, 2018. With the admonishment that I gave that he needs to work with them. I recognize it's his first offense. I would impose a $350 fine and give him 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on September 25th, 2018, and I concur with a $350 fine. And I echo my colleague's sentiment that he should work with the community and the councilman.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on September 25th, 2018, and would concur with the imposition of a $350 fine, and also to echo Mr. Previs, you're getting involved in trying to bridge the community and the licensee. Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Item call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Malice. Board Exhibit 3, letter in opposition from Evanston Village Community Association dated November 7, 2018. Exhibit number 4, impact statement from the Edgewood Neighborhood Improvement Association dated November 3, 2018. Community Exhibit 1, 911 call list. Thank you.
What's the matter?
Call the next case. Joseph Davis and Jung Won Ji, Wan J Incorporated, trading as Bunny's Liquors, 2217 through 19 North Fulton Avenue. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Good morning. With those who are going to testify, raise their right hands, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You,
I do.
okay, and your name, sir?
Chong Ji.
Okay, and you are
Zhongji.
married? You can put your hands down. Is this your wife?
Yes, she's
Oh,
my
okay.
wife.
Both Jong Ji, what's,
Chong and Jong.
Okay, sir, so you're charged with a sale to minor violation on September 25. Do you admit or deny that that happened?
Yes, I sold minor because I closed almost 7 days. July 25th, first time I opened after close, and then she's at home because I got some little problem my personal as a doctor John Hopkins special doctor. I checked MRI, and then doctor after result she called me, and I got liver cancer. That's why she's sad and she stay home. I try usually Tuesday 8 o'clock I close go and try home I think, but 9:30 still on sit down chair thinking that's myself in the future.
So are you the only one who works there, sir?
Yeah, I usually work myself. That's usually she coming evening 6 o'clock. Coming I go sit down back there. That's lay down. But I don't know why not ask ID myself, and I don't understand either. That's why.
So were you the one who served the cadet, or did your wife?
No, she usually coming just help evening time.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, that is my fault. That's
I understand.
after from now on, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna keep on going ask ID.
Were they cooperative? Yes. Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Okay. So on the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on September 25, 2018. Mr. G, I'm sorry to hear that you're going through this difficult time. You've had the license for about 3 years, and this is the second one of these, but I take into consideration that you're not well and you're struggling with this situation. I would impose a $500 fine, and I'd give you 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on September 25th, 2018. This is the second violation within a year of this kind, and I am sympathetic to Mr. G's situation. However, I am inclined to impose a $600 fine.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on September 25th, 2018, and I will, I too am sympathetic, but it is your second one in less than a year. So I would concur with Commissioner Hayfie's imposition of a $600 fine.
Okay, so it's a 2-to-1 vote. It'll be a $600 fine, 30 days to pay, and I hope that you do better, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Like all exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Malice. Thank you.
Call the next case, Ho K. Lawler and Albert Yang, HBS Enterprises Incorporated, trading as Sugar Hill Tavern.
Excuse me, Mr. Akers, did we have the Pratt Liquor and Bar before
Oh,
that?
Your Honor, I apologize. I jumped cases. I wrote next to the wrong one. Strike that. I apologize, sir. Rupak Karki and Robert Tompori, Eva Group LLC, trading as Pratt Liquor and Bar, 1812 West Pratt Street. There's a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
For the record, Melvin J. Kanansky, 320 North Charles Street. No offense taken.
Good morning. With those who are going to testify, raise their right hands, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Admission or denial, Mr.
We'll
Kennedy?
do an admission.
Okay, and what happened?
Well, you might find this hard to believe, but if you look at the record, the license was just transferred September 12th. They were in the process of getting all their family together. They brought back down some of their family from New York, which was some of the relatives, and they were in there. And on September 25th, they served a minor. You might understand that they took that relative and sent them back to New York, but they're now in the process of circling the wagons, finishing everything up. And I don't think you're going to see that happen again. It's a fairly big place, and there was just a lot of people in there trying to keep the place operational and transferred, and the wrong person was there and served them.
So are they carding on a regular basis now?
Yeah, yes, they are. They better.
Okay. Were they cooperative? Commissioners?
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer from counsel, and the testimony, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on September 25, 2018. It's a new licensee. First violation, I'd impose a $300 fine and give them 30 days to pay.
I, too, find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on September 25, 2018, and I concur with a $300 fine with 30 days to pay.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on September 25th, 2018, and would concur with the imposition of a $300 fine.
Good luck, sir.
Good luck.
Like all exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Malice.
Now calling the next case, Ho K. Lawler and Albert Yang, HBS Enterprises Incorporated, trading as Sugar Hill Tavern, 2361 Druid Hill Avenue. There's a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Counsel?
Thank you. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of licensee. This is an admission.
Thank you. Good morning. With those who are going to testify, raise their right hands.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Fogelman, you want to tell the board what happened?
Yeah, thank you very much. Ms. Lawler, as you can see, has owned the Sugar Hill Tavern since 2003. Like you said with the first case in here today, it's been a tough situation. It's a rough and tumble neighborhood. Now it's made worse because there are the laws that are going into effect for on-premises consumption that come into effect in, I want to say, June 1st of 2019. So Ms. Lawler has been plodding away with this business for 15 years now. She had some problems when I was on the liquor board and there was an appeal and the license was restored. In this case, Jonathan Smith, her employee, sold to Cadet Dickerson. He was always a good employee. He'd been there for 8 years. When she'd had a problem in the past, both the November 2017 incident, which is first listed, and during the 2013 incident, he was not the employee who sold. So she had always had a lot of confidence in him. In this case, he let his guard down. He sold to Cadet Dickerson. When she found out about this, she's enrolled him in an alcohol awareness course, she tells me, through John Murray. She also gave him 2 weeks off without pay, but she declined to fire him because he was her A-team as far as carding customers. I guess this is probably a good time to go through her record, if you're ready for that.
That's fine. Let me just first ask, were they cooperative with you? Okay.
All right, this most recent offense on the violation history of the current corporation shows that it says she appeared before the board on March 1st, but it's my understanding that she didn't appear before the board on March 1st, that she was tried in absentia. She didn't get a notice, and she was recovering from shoulder surgery at the time and bladder cancer surgery.
That explains why the fine was so heavy.
Well, and that's why I wanted to bring it up, because it does look a little out of sorts, especially when you consider that there was no violations for over 4.5 years from late 13 until late 17. And that's why I wanted to bring that up to discuss that with the board. In the 15 years that she's been there, like I said, she had some issues in 2008 that, and I'm not sure the board may have overreacted because the circuit court sent it back to us. Nevertheless, there is clearly a 401A conviction from 13, and there's one from from November of 2017. Her health in 2017 during the last offense, she was at that point in recovery for her shoulder operation and her bladder cancer, and didn't get the notice, and since that time has been extremely vigilant, which seems to be a common word we're hearing on a violations document, but very vigilant about sales of minors since that last offense, which is why the failure on the part of her good employee, Jonathan Smith, has really turned her to a point where she is ready to retire. Between her health and the difficulties in planning for zoning laws that are coming into effect or that are having their date come due, she has listed listed the business for sale with Keller Williams. Sam Tammer is the agent. She was the store was broken into on September 11th, and over $3,000 worth of merchandise was taken. Her health isn't good. She has shattered her wrist and has shoulder pain. She also, weirdly enough, has a black eye here. And I said, what happened to you? And beer fell on her head when she was trying to stack wine in the cold case the other day. So this has been a tough year for her. And so that is why she is, at this point, ready to stay vigilant. She's implemented the 100% ID check with all of her employees at the tavern, and she's ready to retire from this business. I would ask that you consider those things and the 4 years that went between those last violations in considering the sentence, and I thank you.
Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No question.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer from counsel, the admission and testimony received, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on September 25, 2018. Take into consideration the mitigating comments from counsel. Looks like the 2008 violations were reversed. I understand now what happened in 2018 was her health kept her from coming to the hearing. I'd impose a $1,500 fine and give her 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on September 25th, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine and 30 days to pay.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on September 25th, 2018, and I would concur with the imposition of a $1,500 fine.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Inspector Perez.
Calling next case, Dwayne Henderson Club Harem Incorporated, also known as 425 East Baltimore Street Incorporated, trading as Club Harem, 425 East Baltimore Street. It's a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license and a Class AE adult entertainment license. Violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors. Violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05A, incorporation of liquor license rules and regulations to applicable licensees. Violation of Rule 3.02, cooperation. And a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors. Please note that the sales to minors are on different days, September 13th and September 26th. And a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05A, incorporation of liquor license rules and regulations to applicable licensees.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of Dwayne Henderson, the licensee for Club Harem, Inc.
Everyone who's going to testify, raise their right hand, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Admissions or denials?
This will be an admission as to all 5 charges, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So this licensee's had the license for almost 2 years without violation. He's been on a spree.
Yes, sir,
Here.
if I can explain.
Okay.
On September 13th, the initial cadet operation, Ms. Kritzer was the bartender on duty. Mr. Gates, who had served on the second time, is the manager, and apparently Mr. Gates was distracted from the front door. Ms. Kritzer didn't realize that and served the cadet. From there, Ms. Kritzer, now let me explain this. Mr. Henderson was at a funeral in Philadelphia that evening. He wasn't around. He's usually there on site, hands-on operator at all times. Ms. Kritzer got into some type of fun and games, improper conduct with the police officers and the liquor inspectors, and we apologize for that. Mr. Henderson decided that he would admonish her and not fire her for her conduct. Apparently, there was an issue with the departmental $20 bill that was not given back. We don't know what happened to it. Mr. Henderson did not come back into town until either late Saturday or Sunday. I was on the phone with him the day after trying to figure things out. But this wasn't his doing. It's not how he operates. We understand under 3.02, it's cooperation of the licensee and the employees. So the buck stops here, yes, but it's not the way he acts. He's a gentleman, he's a hands-on operator, he doesn't do that. And we apologize to the board, the police for the way she acted that evening. Now, in light of that, folks weren't happy with this establishment as a result of her conduct on that evening, and they got a couple other visits. Now, the second time on September 26th, Mr. Gates, who I believe Detective Gatto and Agent Chrysomalis would say that he is a gentleman and he was cooperative. He let his guard down. He was behind the bar to stock, let his guard down, and served the Cadet Dickerson on that second occasion. He said it was just a total oversight that he let his guard down on that evening and occasion. Mr. Henderson is there. He's making sure that everything stays in compliance. He understands he's under the microscope now, and he will do whatever he needs to do to cooperate with the board and keep his house in order. In light of the fact that this is his first offense, I respectfully request that the board take that into consideration and impose what the board would consider an appropriate fine.
Who was in there on the 25th? So was it Ms. Kritzer's attitude that caused the problem?
When Commissioner, I'm the detective that always retrieves the money. When I asked for, I addressed to her what had just occurred, in reference to the $20 bill, and I asked, and Agent Chris Mouse was standing next to me when I requested our money back, showed her the photocopy of the serial of the number on the $20 bill. She laughed, and then proceeded to go about looking for this $20 bill, continue flipping the 20s. We went through it again. I counted through all their 20s several times. She went off to some other patrons and another dancer within the establishment and was making little comments. I'm sure Agent Chris Miles could remember to the T some of the comments that she made while we continued to search for this $20 bill. Now, the on-site manager, whose name they are mentioning,
Mr. Gates.
yes, was somewhat helpful. He seemed a little bit baffled, but at the same time, this $20 bill never surfaced. There was an intent the entire time to conceal. The belief was, and the saying was, they don't have their $20 bill, so they don't have their evidence. And that was the comment that was made. So, and as it was stated by our colleague here, that we did visit the location with other agencies within Baltimore City, and it was just an ongoing joke, and that $20 bill just never resurfaced. And I said there that night, I said, Madam, if you have the $20 bill, this will all go away. We have our violation already. We can just leave. And everything would have ended. But now, it continued. They planted their flag. They were committed to keeping that $20 bill.
Okay. When you went in on the 26th of September, was Mr. Gates cooperative?
He was cooperative.
Okay. All right. Commissioners have questions?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, council's proffers and admissions as to each of the violations and the testimony received, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01A on September 13, 2018, a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05A on September 13, 2018, violation of Rule 3.02 on September 13, a violation of Rule 4.01A on September 26, and a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05 small a on September 26. As to each of the sales to minor violations, which is for individual violations, I'd impose $500 fine as to each. As to the non-cooperation, I'd impose a $1,500 fine, and I'd give them 30 days to pay.
So 1, 2, 4, and 5 are $500 fines.
Yes.
Right. And the third one is $1,500.
That's what I would suggest.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A sales to minors on September 13, 2018, a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05A on September 13, 2018, violation of Rule 3.02 cooperation on September 13, 2018, violation of Rule 4.01A sales to minors on September 26, 2018, and violation of the Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05A on September 26, 2018. And I concur with the imposition of a $500 fine as to each sales to minors violations, which would be 1, 2, 4, and 5. And I concur with the $1,500 fine as to the corporate cooperation violation on September 13, 2018.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on September 13th, 2018, and would agree with a $500 fine. I find a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05A on September 13th, 2018, and would also agree with a $500 fine. I find a violation of Rule 3.02 cooperation on September 13th, 2018, and would agree with a $1,500 fine. Find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on September 26, 2018, and would agree with the $500 fine. And lastly, I also find a violation of the Adult Entertainment Rule 3.05A on September 26, 2018, and would also agree with the $500 fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 3, investigation report, Agent Chris Amalis. Board Exhibit 4, investigation report, Agent Chris Amalis. Thank you.
Calling the next case, David Hitchner, Chasers LLC, trading as Chasers 2501 through 03 Fleet Street. It's a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Good morning. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of licensee. It's an admission.
Okay, with those who are going to testify, raise their right hands, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I did.
So, Mr. Fogelman, on September 13, what happened?
Thank you. On September 13, indeed, Ms. Cersei, who is here with the authority of Mr. Hitchner, who's hospitalized currently, she did indeed make a sale to the cadet in this matter who is present today.
Okay. Mistake, I take it. Do you normally ID?
Always.
Okay.
And I was in the middle of carding somebody else that didn't have ID that I told him I couldn't serve them. It was the Eagles game. It's my bad. Came from the back where the police was trying to ask for a Bud Light. I did.
Okay.
So I got to tell you, I haven't seen this level of contrition on a first offense in a while, but I saw her in the hall and she was about crying and upset that she did this, and I said, just calm down, we'll take care of this. So she understands. If anybody's learned a lesson, it's her. She's been a bartender for 24 years, the last 4 at the establishment, also works at the Blarney Stone in Fells Point, never had any legal involvement as a result of her service in the beverage industry. So she's a little shook up about this, and
I understand.
it probably is a good thing.
Cooperative?
Yes.
Okay. And there's no prior offense, so this is first time. Commissioners?
I don't have any questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis then of the proffer from counsel, the admission, testimony received, and the materials that are contained in the charging documents, I find a violation of Rule 4.01, small a, on September 13, 2018, and I would impose a $300 fine and give the licensee 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on September 13, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $300 fine and 30 days to pay.
Thank you. My apologies, Commissioner Happy. I find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on September 13, 2018, and would concur with the imposition of a $300 fine. And Ms. Kiersey, I know it's hard to come in front of us on the first time, but you're fine. I think you learned a lesson, and hopefully we won't have to see you again.
Thanks for being honest with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Medical exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Amalis.
Court, board's indulgence.
Okay, which one is this? What's it called? Oh, okay, all right, well, go ahead.
Calling Susan Cho and Jung Si Chung, 100,000 Incorporated, trading as Bull Robinson Liquors, 2736 Greenmount Avenue. Is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
All those who are interested in testifying in this case, please come forward and raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony? You coming up, sir?
Councilman, I think, is this for Councilman Stokes as well? Councilman, I think this is your case as well. Yeah, but I'm not. Oh, okay. My apologies.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what is your name, sir?
Scott Cho, 2736 Greenmount Avenue.
You say Scott?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so you were the individual involved in this, right?
Yes, sir.
And you, sir, are?
Tony Brown from the Charles Village Benefit District.
Oh, okay. So the licensees are not present? That you're here on behalf?
She's my wife.
Oh, okay. So you're charged with a sale to minor on September 13. Do you admit or deny that that happened?
Admit.
Okay. Do you want to tell the board what happened?
Well, I mean, it was like there are no excuse. It wasn't. I was daydreaming. Just like as soon as I made a sale, then I clicked, then I chasing him outside. Already sale has been made. Then as soon as I'm outside, and two policemen crossing the street, and hey, you already have made the sale, so I'm kind of late. But I figure that there are no excuse. Trying my best, but I don't know, some reason I was daydreaming. This is the first time. It's kind of like embarrassing.
Was he cooperative with you? Sir, what did you want to tell us?
Yeah, for the Charles District Community Benefits District, we've had some concerns.
Your name, sir, again?
Tony Brown. We've had some concerns with the establishment. Scott has tried to help out before. When Scott's not there, the place seems to really go down quickly. It's a dangerous area right now for the community, and it's outside. The loitering outside has grown exponentially, and the littering, and then just the facade of the building needs to be upkeep.
So have you had any conversations with the owners, the licensees themselves?
No.
So is that your wife, Susan Cho, is that who is on the license?
Yes.
And who is Young Chung?
He's a co-signer.
Is he involved in the business at all?
No, sir.
Who runs the business?
I do.
Okay.
So I've seen Scott at community meetings, and we've always spoken about, not one-on-one, but the community has issued concerns about the upkeep of the place.
But it sounds like it might be a good, given the concerns, and it sounds like there's some security issues and trash issues and other things that maybe some kind of a memorandum could be worked out. Are you willing to work with the community organization to try to come to some agreement? Would that be helpful to you?
That's fine.
Okay. And we have, I believe, if you can't do it one-on-one or whatever, if you want some facilitation.
I'm good with it, yes.
You're okay? All right. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Okay. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the testimony received, the admission, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on September 13, 2018. Ms. Cho's had this license for since 2011. There was only the only other violations occurred in 2013, which was 5 years ago. And Mr. Cho's been very candid about this one. With your promise that you're going to work with the community organization to try to resolve their issues, which are not before us today, but which will undoubtedly come here if you are unable to do so, I'd impose a $500 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on September 13, 2018. And I concur with the imposition of a $500 fine with 30 days to pay. And again, I hope you work with the community to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on September 13, 2018. Would agree with the imposition of $500 fine. Would echo my colleagues' sentiment about working with the community. We also have a community liaison, Mr. Alkheimer, who might be able to help work with Baltimore Development Corporation, whether there might be some opportunities for facade improvement, cameras, et cetera. So, staff can be of assistance, Mr. Brown and Mr. Cho. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here.
Mighty Call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department Report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, Investigation Report, Agent Chris Amalis. Community Exhibit 1, Charles Village Community Benefits District, letter in opposition, dated November 8th, 2018.
Turning to regular order, calling the next case, Michael Donovan, John Durkin, and Michael Malasone, Bond Street, Baltimore, LLC, trading as Bond Street Social, 901 South Bond Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, liquor license, violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees. To my immediate right is Mr. Michael Donovan, one of the licensees and manager of the premises. Also present is Ms. Jacqueline Brandy, the server on duty.
Okay, would those who are going to testify raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Admission or denial, Mr. Cruz?
I hate to disappoint our television fans, but this will be another admission.
Okay. We're never going to get an Emmy doing that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what happened on September 13th?
What happened was Ms. Brandy was working bartender. She was training a new hiree, a gentleman, and she was in the process of teaching him certain mixed drinks, and she was caught up in the process of doing that, and in the meantime, Cadet Claybo came in and ordered a Captain Morgan and Coke. We won't hold that against him, but she made the drink totally distracted with her duties of training this other gentleman. She is now teased uncontrollably for in the process of training somebody, making the major bartender error of serving a minor. In light of this happening, she was tip certified prior to the incident. In light of this event happening, the establishment has had all of its employees retrained, and they have a copy of the certification indicating that after this event, everybody was recertified, and they do take this very seriously. There is one prior violation for this establishment, and if you don't recall, it kind of puzzling when you look at violation 3.08 sanitation and safety. What that was a fire department overcrowding a few years back, and for which there was no fine imposed, and the door and the count was rectified. In light of the fact that the establishment has taken this very seriously and it's a first violation of this sort, I respectfully request that the board consider a not too drastic fine.
Cooperate.
The management and the server were very cooperative and apologize.
Well, with the name of Brandy, you had to become a bartender. And if you're training people, I want you to know that Noel Coward once famously said that to make a perfect martini, you pour gin into a glass and wave it vaguely in the direction of Italy. Anyway, do the commissioners have questions?
No questions.
I don't. I have lots of them, but I won't ask.
All right. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer and admission from counsel and testimony received, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on September 13, 2018. I'm going to consider this a first offense, and I'd impose a $300 fine and give them 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on September 13, 2018, and I concur with a $300 fine and 30 days to pay.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A on September 13, 2018, and would concur with the imposition of a $300 fine.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
On call exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Greenhill. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Amalis. Licensee Exhibit 1, alcohol awareness list. Thank you.
Calling the next case, Minhai Choi and Hope Cisco, Lucky Sina Incorporated, trading as Sina Wines and Liquors, 2448 North Charles Street. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Mr. Akers, do we have service on the licensees? So I'm looking at a notice for service on October 24, 2018, signed by Ms. Kim and somebody else whose name I can't read. And we haven't had any contact with them?
No, Your Honor. Would you like me to check out in the lobby to see if they're out there?
Well, Mr. Chris Amalis can do that. It's a first offense, so I'm wondering why they wouldn't be present.
Nobody is out there.
Do you want to hold it to the afternoon docket and see if we can make contact?
We can do that, Mr. Chair.
Let's do that. Is that agreeable to the commissioners?
That's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I have the summons back?
Next
Oh,
case.
summons.
On the next case, Keon Chan Lee, Shang Lee, and Russell Trimmer, Sky and Angie's Liquors Incorporated, trading as New Guilford Liquors, 2801 Guilford Avenue. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Will those who are going to testify raise their right hand, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Your name, sir?
Ken Lee, K-Y-E-N, C-H-A-N Lee.
Good morning. So you're charged with a sale to minor violation on September 13, 2018. Do you admit or deny that that occurred?
Yes. I made mistakes, but
So you're admitting it? And do you want to tell the board what happened?
September 13th, no ID check.
You didn't check the ID?
By mistake.
Are you careful now to check IDs?
This time, all 100% ID check.
I mean, this is the fourth sale to minor violation. Do you realize that? And the last one was in 2009, so it's been a while, but you do have them dating back to 2006.
Yes.
Okay. Were they cooperative with you? Commissioners?
No questions.
So, Mr. Lee, what are you going to do to prevent this? This is your fourth one. This is your fourth sale to minor. How are you?
All the time.
You're going to card all the time?
Yeah, see?
Never. That's okay. I'll withdraw the question.
Okay. Anything further, sir? Do you have anything further you'd like to add? Okay. On the basis that in the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on September 13, 2018. It is his fourth violation, but the last one was almost 10 years ago. So I would impose a $1,000 fine and give him 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on September 13, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine, given that this is a fourth, but the last one was 10 years ago.
Find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on September 13, 2018. Since this is your fourth violation, although, as we've mentioned, one is about 10 years ago, I would have imposed a $2,000 fine, no suspension.
Okay, so it's a 2-to-1 vote. It'd be a $1,000 fine, 30 days to pay, sir. Thank you.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Malice.
On the last case on the morning docket, Aaron Roach, 398 LLC, trading as 29th Street Tavern, 398 West 29th Street. There's a Class BD7 beer, wine, liquor license, a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky, 320 North Charles Street, representing the licensee.
For those who are here for this case, raise their right hands, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Admission or denial?
This would be an admission. In this particular case, this was a place that's been there for a real long time, and they had just changed hands. You see that the license was transferred in 2016. There was an extensive renovation done to get the place up to code. The person who served, this was a new employee. The licensee is certified. She's going to make an attempt to have all her employees certified, have somebody come to the particular location so they all have an awareness as to what and how they're supposed to card people, et cetera.
Was Ms. Whiteneck cooperative? Questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer from counsel, the admission, and the testimony, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on September 13, 2018. First offense, I would impose a $300 fine and give her 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on September 13, 2018, and I concur with a $300 fine.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on September 13th, 2018, and would agree with the imposition of a $300 fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I call exhibits to the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department
Thank you.
report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Malice.
So I think that concludes the morning docket. Mr. Akers?
Yes, that does.
We'll resume a little after 1.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. Good afternoon. This is the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City's afternoon docket. Today is Thursday, November 8th. There are going to be violations this afternoon. When your case is called, please step up to the microphone and state your name clearly. We're being recorded both both via audio and video. And if you're going to be giving testimony, please be prepared to be sworn in. Calling the first case, Angel Lyles and Christopher Nwazi, Ayando Group LLC, trading as Oxygen Lounge, 10 South Calvert Street. It's a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, violation of Labor and Employment Article, Section 9-1012, suspension of license or permit, April 26, 2018.
Counsel?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs, standing in for Melvin Kadensky.
Okay. And with those who are going to testify in this case, please raise their right hands.
Actually, I believe that we're just going to request another postponement. We have it agreed upon date.
Oh, okay.
And Maria Nako Saxon, just for the record, from the uninsured
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your
Employers
name again.
Fund. Maria Nako Saxon from the Uninsured Employers Fund. Yes, it's Maria, M-A-R-I-A. And my last name is hyphenated, N as in Nicholas, A-C-O-S hyphen S-A-X-O-N.
Okay. So you're trying to find a date, and if you can resolve this before that, bring it back? Is that what you want to do?
I'm just standing in.
Yes.
Mr. Kadensky's in court in Baltimore County, and he has been working with Ms. Nico Saxon to try to get resolved, but in any event, they have an agreed date.
And we do have an agreed date of December the 6th, and that is our intention, is to actually settle the underlying case, and therefore create a payment plan, and the UEF will withdraw its request.
Okay. And Mr. Akers, is December 6th going to work for us?
Yes, we can schedule this on December 6th.
Okay. Case will be continued until that docket. Thank you.
Thank you.
No exhibits.
Your Honor, there was one preliminary matter. It was postponed, if I just may read it into the record.
Please.
Bibik Gautam and Shakar Karki and Rupenda Lutel, BS and R LLC, trading as Waverly Tavern, 3801 Old York Road. This matter has been postponed and will be set in on a future date. Calling the next case, Dominic Lascola, O'Donnell Curley LLC, trading as El Buffalo, 2921 O'Donnell Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Counsel?
Good afternoon to Your Honor.
Sorry to interrupt, just one, I have to recuse myself from this matter.
Okay. Mr. Maslin?
Your Honor, please. Mr. Greenfeld. For the record, Gary Maslin on behalf of the licensee, Dominic Lascala.
Can I ask those who are going to testify to raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Maslin, is it going to be an admission or denial?
It would be a technical admission with a substantial amount of mitigation, which I'd like to present.
That's fine.
My client has been a licensee at this location for several years, has never been before the board. In May of this year, the Underage Drinking Task Force entered their establishment and tried to make a purchase. That purchase was refused, and our client received a commendation letter from this board advising them that there was a refusal and thanking them for their diligence and how they operated their business.
It will be received.
Now, much to my client's surprise, with over 1,400 liquor establishments, I believe, in the city of Baltimore, and for reasons unknown, the underage task force came back in August, 3 months later. Mind you, there are many, many other establishments that are a problem. This is not a problem location. This is an extremely well-run operation, does not create any disturbance in the neighborhood, and my client is very sensitive to the community needs. This incident is an aberration. What occurred here was they had a trainee, a young lady, who was there only in observatory capacity. She was specifically instructed, observe only. The establishment was crowded with a couple parties. She was behind the bar watching the bartender work. The people behind the bar left the bar for a brief moment to deliver some checks to a very large party who was there. While they left her alone behind the bar with specific instructions not to serve any alcoholic beverages unless she was under the direct supervision of one of the managers or other employees, the cadet entered the establishment at that moment and went up to her, and she indicated that she believed that the individual approaching her was part of one of these large parties, and he asked for a Corona beer, and she, in an effort to be helpful and demonstrate she was a good potential candidate to be hired, gave the man a Corona beer.
Didn't turn out that way, huh?
Pardon me? No, it didn't turn out. She wrote a statement under her handwriting, and I'd present it to the board, where she outlined the entire experience, telling them how thorough and how these people were in her training, and how she was instructed not to serve anyone except in the direct supervision, and contrary to those instructions, she went ahead and, in derogation of direct orders, served a beer.
Okay. Anything further?
Pardon me?
Is there anything further?
Yes. I have a letter also from the manager, Brent Sale, who's present here. He was there that evening, and that's also corroboration of it. The Brent Sale, who was there, is TIP certified. That's his training. My client takes his obligations as a licensee extremely seriously. He has doormen on there on the weekends, and as a result of this incident, so in order to prevent the possibility, remote possibility of any possible somebody slipping through and an employee making a mistake, he now has gone through the additional expense of having door people there on the other days of the week. That's a considerable expense that he has undertaken. He, unfortunately, as a result of the young lady's derogation of direct orders not to do anything, he felt he had no alternative but to terminate her. He feels bad about that, but when you instruct someone not to do something, they go against what you've specifically instructed them to do. He felt that he had no alternative. He doesn't want anybody to jeopardize his license, especially when he's gone out of his way to take measures that things do not occur. Do you have anything you'd like to say, Mr. LaScala, in this matter?
I would just like to beg the board's forgiveness and please understand that we do our best and put our best foot forward to be a responsible licensee in the community and an employer. And this was an unfortunate circumstance that unfortunately resulted in the young lady's termination. But we look at this as an opportunity to continue to improve and have taken the steps, as Gary alluded to, prior to this incident. The only 2 evenings of the week where we didn't have front door supervision were Monday and Tuesday, and now we have that 7 days a week.
I would ask the board that this is a licensee that's never been before the board, and I'd ask the board to suspend any fines in this matter because they have engaged in taking on a considerable additional expense and have acted responsibly in this matter.
Were they cooperative? They were. Commissioner, you have any questions?
No questions.
Okay. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents, the proffer and admission by counsel and testimony received, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a, sale to minor on August 7, 2018. As a first offense, I'd impose a $300 fine and give them 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, and would concur with the imposition of the $300 fine, although I do note that you've taken precautions and it's appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
Let's make this part.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department Report, Detective Gatto. Board Exhibit 2, Investigation Report, Agent Chris Samalis. Licensee Exhibit 1, letter of accommodation dated 5/11/2018. Licensee number 2, statement from server. Licensee number 3, statement from manager. And licensee Exhibit 4, tip certification. Thank you.
Calling the next case, Lisa Ireland and Thomas Malinowski, PP&G, trading as Norma Jeans, 10 Custom House Avenue, is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license and an adult entertainment license, a violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.02B, entrances and exteriors of premises, and a violation of Alcoholic Beverage Rule 4.16, illegal conduct.
Counsel.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees Lisa Ireland and Thomas Malinowski. I have just been retained. May I respectfully request to jump to the back of the line today so that I can review this a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Can the officer stay?
Yes.
Okay.
I have duty at 4 o'clock.
Well, I don't think we're going to be that long.
Yes. Call the next case. Ruchir Ba and Parikh and Naima Pliva, Saruni Incorporated, trading as Fireside North 2201 West North Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, a violation of Rule 4.20C, small double I, a Class BD7 licenses, open and operating taverns at all time.
Counsel.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees.
Okay, would all those who are going to testify raise their right hand, please?
Raise your hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Ms. Previous, an admission or denial?
It's close, but I will deny.
Okay. Who's going to testify for the board?
I'm going to use this mic.
Agent Chris Samalis, Baltimore City Liquor Board. On or about September 26, 2018, at approximately 10 p.m., Agent Chris Samalis, while on duty and working with a joint BD7 task force consisting of members of BPD Vice Unit, Detective LeBron, Detective Greenhill, Detective Sergeant Leisher, and Detective Bonaparte, who was working in an undercover capacity, were conducting BD7 investigations throughout the city. We arrived at 2201 North Avenue in the city of Baltimore, state of Maryland, known as Fireside. Once at the location, Detective Bonaparte entered the establishment and asked the cashier, later identified as one Prabin Gurung, for entrance to the tavern portion. The cashier told the detective...
Objection to...
Mr. Chris Samalis wasn't present at the time.
Overruled.
Cashier told the detective that the tavern was closed. Detective exited the location, notified the members of the team that he was denied entry. We entered the establishment and told the cashier that he had denied entry to the undercover detective. We explained the violation in the process and left the location with any further incident.
And So this license only transferred in May. And who did you speak with when you were there about the violation?
We spoke with the cashier to the.
Okay. And who's here today, Mr. Privas?
Ms. Parikh is the licensee.
Okay.
The
The
other
other lady's not the
licensee-
cashier?
No, she's the bartender.
Okay. Okay. But the person you spoke with, did they give you a hard time or anything?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. Do you want to present evidence, or you have questions for?
Very briefly, Mr. Chrisomalis, were you in the premises, and did you observe Detective Bonaparte?
No.
Okay. Is Detective Bonaparte here?
He is.
Okay, great. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Do you want to put on any evidence?
I'd like, yeah, I'll call Detective Bonaparte.
Okay. Detective? He can testify from there.
That's fine. Detective Bonaparte, did you, I'm sorry.
First name?
Is Detective Hayward Bonaparte?
Haywood or Hayward?
Hayward.
Okay. Detective Bonaparte, on September 26th at approximately 10 p.m., were you at the Fireside North on 2201 North Avenue?
Yes.
West North Avenue, okay. And you entered the establishment?
Yes.
And did you speak with the clerk in the liquor store portion of the premises?
Yes.
Okay, and did you order anything from that, at that point?
I didn't order anything, no.
Okay. Was there a line? Were there people in front of you, people behind you or anything?
I don't recall.
Okay. And as you approached the clerk, who said what first?
I asked him, was the bar open? And he said no.
Okay. Did you ask to go into the bar?
Yes.
Well, what did you ask? Did you ask if it was open or could you go?
I asked both. I said, is it open? And if I can go in the back, and he said it was closed. Come back another time.
Come back another time?
Yes.
Okay. Did you try the door to the bar?
No.
Okay. You didn't see what was back behind the door?
No.
Okay. And that was it? You left and advised the rest of your team?
That's correct.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Do you have any other evidence?
In mitigation, I would like to call Ms. Lindsay Finch.
Okay.
Ms. Finch, spell your name for the record.
Lindsay, Lindsay, Finch, Finch.
Ms. Finch, are you employed by the Fireside North?
Yes,
Okay, and when did you begin employment?
about the beginning of September.
Okay, and what are your duties?
I'm the bartender.
Okay. Is there a bar on the premises?
Yes,
And what are your hours and days of work?
7 to 2 a.m. every day except for Tuesday.
You're off Tuesdays?
Yes.
Does somebody else work the bar on Tuesdays?
No. Well, the front, yes, not my part. No,
Okay,
just the liquor store part.
okay. But there's other people in the premises?
Yes.
On your day off?
Right.
The
Yes.
whole place doesn't shut down because?
No,
of-
no, no, no.
Okay. And how far do you live from the premises?
I live 2 blocks down,
Okay.
Smallwood Street.
And so you have a regular bar?
Yes.
Okay, and do you have customers?
Yes.
You have
regulars.
regulars? Okay, you do?
Yes.
Okay. And you serve alcoholic beverages for people to drink on premises?
Yes.
Okay. Now, with regard to September 26th, were you there that night?
No.
Okay. So you don't know what happened this night? But
No.
you're advising the board that subsequent to this, you're there 6 days a week, you have a fully stocked operational bar at all times at the front?
Yes.
The front is open, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions. Ms. Ward.
Okay. Any other evidence?
I just got, the attendant that was there that night is not present.
Mr. Garong?
Yeah. What, I just proffer that what he advises is that the bartender on duty went home sick. It's not evidence he's not here. He claims he didn't tell the officer that he would have to accommodate both, but more specifically, we're advising the board that we're making sure there's somebody on duty in the back.
Okay.
So that doesn't happen again. So with that,
Commissioners have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
I don't have any questions.
All right. On the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.20, small c, small double I, on September 26, 2018. Is there other testimony on the sanction?
Yes. My name is Dr. Marvin Cheatham. I'm president of Matthew Henson Neighborhood Association. We were here last week. We're going to come as often as we can to share some concerns that we have. Our area has far too many liquor establishments there. One of the issues we have specifically related to the lounges, that we have 3 liquor establishments, 3 of whom do not normally have people there working the lounge part. We're going to say basically that Fireside does not, that Oxford Liquor does not, as well as Whispers. The one bar that does normally have 24, at least not 24 hours a day, but continuous operation of their lounge is Macio's. What we're asking is either that these establishments be open as they should. I am there, at least I go through all 4 of these locations at least once a week, and the majority of the 3 that I mentioned normally do not have someone in the back. We're saying either have them required to be open, or is what we're asking, let's devalue the worth of the license or whatever permit that you give them. We're trying to reduce liquor establishments. We've had 17 homicides just in our neighborhood. We have 11 liquor establishments. We are requesting that these establishments be open as they are required, or we remove that particular part of the license, the lounge part, if they're not going to be open the way that they should.
Okay, thank you. Anything further?
Ms. Finch would like to, as a member of the community, would just like to say something in response to how this bar is operated. Ms.
Okay.
Finch, you were previously sworn.
Yes, I would just like to speak as far as the bar and the community there. These people actually gave me a chance, which a lot of people don't do in that community, in that area. I came to him and he gave me a chance. And like you said, with the crime and things like that, this is the kind of stuff that gets people off the streets and get people a safe haven, you know, somewhere to be. Like, I'm a young lady in Baltimore City and I'm not afraid to be back there. It's not no kind of, these are people that's more so like a family. They're regular people. They like that it's somewhere for them to come and it's safe. They don't have to worry about crime and shooting and things like that, because that doesn't happen at that bar, especially not in the back, not while I'm there, because I can't allow that while I'm a young lady. But I would just like to say it gives people opportunity. Like, people see me back there and they're like, hey, you know, maybe I can get a job washing dishes, or maybe it keeps people off the street. And it's opportunity. Like I said, I thank them for even allowing me to be back there and get a second job, because I really need the extra money.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so having found the violation on September 26, 2018, now you've only had this license for 5 or 6 months, and you've been violated, so, and obviously there's opposition in the community, so people are going to be watching you carefully. You have to make sure that you don't violate our rules and regulations. I'd impose a $500 fine and give you 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.20, small c, small double I, on September 26, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $500 fine, and I echo my colleagues' sentiments that you should work with the community.
I find a violation of Rule 4.20C, too small I, on September 26, 2018, would concur with the imposition of a $500 fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Technical exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective LeBron. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Amalis.
Calling the next case, Kevin Young, Touchdown LLC, trading as Touchdown, 1171 through 73 West Hamburg Street. It's a Class BD7 beer, wine, liquor license, violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, and a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct on March 1st, 2018.
Are you Mr. Young, sir?
No, Mr. Butler.
Would both of you, if you're going to speak, raise your right hands, please?
Swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
What's your first name?
Edward Butler. Edward Butler, B-U-T-L-E-R.
And what is your connection with Mr. Young?
I'm the owner of the establishment.
You own Touchdown LLC?
Yes, 51% owned, yes.
Okay. So the charges that Mr. Young gave an incorrect statement in support of the application. Is that correct?
Yes, he did.
Okay, and what's his status now? Is he still connected with Touchdown LLC?
No, he's not.
So has there been some change made in the ownership status?
The only changes been made as far as the license concerned.
Have we had any indication of a change in license?
Yes, Your Honor. This is a case that was actually filed back in 2017, and there was a corporate dispute between the members of the LLC that owned this particular location, and at the time, pardon me, Mr. Young had taken control of the corporation, filed documents with the liquor board, taken control of the corporation. Mr. Young then put himself on the license, and there was about a year-long court case in Baltimore County between Mr. Butler and Mr. Young in regards to control of the corporation. The agency...
That was all outlined in the next case involving the hardship?
Yes, it's outlined in the violation portion at the bottom of the page. And so what occurred was when we received the court order in September of 2018, it instructed the liquor board that Mr. Butler had 51% controlling interest of the LLC. And so we had, about a year ago, charged the corporation with a violation because Mr. Young had sustained a felony conviction on his record and was not allowed to be on the license as per the law. And so that was why we originally brought the case against Mr. Young. If you recall,
It's been corrected now?
It's been corrected now because once Mr. Butler obtained the order, he filed a substitute application with our agency naming Miss Owens, and ma'am, I'm assuming, yes, Miss Owens is present here, as the licensee. And so the reason we filed all these cases today, the violations and the hardship extension, is because we can clear the record from Mr. Young, from Mr. Young to Mr. Butler, and also the board can hear the hardship extension, which would allow the license to continue.
So are we still pursuing the violations?
The board, because they were charged, the board can make a determination if the violations occurred. I believe you have the evidence in front of you, and impose, a de minimis fine, a fine, suspend the fine, just make a finding so that we can move forward with this matter.
And it's Brown, Mr. Brown?
Butler.
Butler, I'm sorry. Mr. Butler, were you aware that Mr. Young had given us a false statement in his application?
When I found out, I'm the one that reported it to them, so I wasn't aware of it. When I was aware of it, I immediately went to the liquor board and made them aware of it.
Okay. The commissioners have questions?
I don't have any questions.
Well, we can talk about it later. That's right.
Okay. Thank you, sir. On the basis, then, of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received, I find a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct on May 5, 2017, a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct on March 1, 2018, and I would suspend the fine.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct on May 5, 2017, and a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct on May 1st, 2018, and I agree with suspending the fine.
I find a violation of Rule 4.16, legal conduct on May 5, 2017, and would concur with no fine, and find a violation of Rule 4.16, illegal conduct on March 1st, 2018, and would also not impose a fine.
Thank you. Don't go anywhere. I think we have another case.
That's correct.
Yes. I'd like to call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, 2017 Baltimore City Liquor License Renewal. Board Exhibit 2, Criminal Court Document. And Board Exhibit 3, estate status.
And if I may ask the board, is the administrative fee also suspended?
Yes, let's waive that unless my colleagues disagree.
I concur.
I concur.
Thank you. Calling. Am I ready, Bryson? Okay. Calling the next case, Thelma Owens, Touchdown LLC, trading as Touchdown, 1171 through 73 West Hamburg Street. It's a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. This is a request to reopen under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 122203, wherein a licensed premise has been closed for at least 3 consecutive months, and a 180-day hardship extension request under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 122202.
So, Mr. Butler, you've sent us a letter in support of the hardship extension, and you'll excuse me if I had a hard time reading it. Can you tell me why?
A lot of people say that. Basically, we were locked out of the business completely. What happened was a fraud was committed. We sent the case to the Baltimore County court, and they determined that they were at fault. They consented that they did things that were illegal and wrong, and they consented that they had committed fraud. It's right in the document of the court order. So I was unaware of anything they were doing there, because when I took sick, it took me like about 9 months to recover, and they went in and commandeered the building and did what they wanted to do with it. The only thing I could do was go to court. I'm not physically able to do what I could when I was younger, so I had to ask the court to intercede in my behalf and to recognize my 51%, which they had given to someone else.
So what do you need the extra 180 days for?
Why did I need 100?
Yeah.
Originally, I was told, that's what we cut off. Pardon me. Sorry about that. The 180 days, my understanding was because you're supposed to have things filed in a certain order in a certain time.
Okay, and you needed to complete all that so you can reopen?
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's what I wanted to understand. Do the commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Okay, thank you, sir. On the basis then of the materials that are contained in this request for a hardship extension and the testimony received, I would vote to approve the hardship extension for 180 days.
I concur and vote to approve the extension for 180 days.
Mr. Akers, can I ask you a clarifying question on this?
Yes.
So is this a request for hardship extension and a request to reopen?
There are 2 questions before the
Okay.
board. The granting of the hardship extension and whether or not the board allows the applicant licensee to reopen.
So I'd vote yes as to both.
Same.
I-
concur.
I too would grant the hardship extension and grant the request to reopen after being closed for more than 90 days.
Thank you. Good luck, sir.
He'll explain. Mr. Akers will explain.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you.
So we have 2 more cases?
We have one more case.
We have one from this morning, and then we have one from this afternoon.
Would you like me to recall the one from this morning, or
Please.
leave that to the end?
No, let's call it.
Recalling Minnie Choi and Hope Cisco, Lucky Sina Incorporated, trading as Sina Wines and Liquors, 2448 North Charles Street. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors. And Agent John Howard has been in communications with Agent Clark in regards to this matter.
Okay, well, I have a message from Agent Clark saying that he's advised the licensees that their hearing is today and that they're not interested in appearing.
Yes, that's what he told me.
Okay, so that's fine. So who's going to testify? We'll swear him. While she's doing that, would you raise your right hand, please, both of you, if you're going to testify?
Swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay. Detective?
All right, I'll read it in. 9/13 of 2018 of this year, approximately 21:35 hours, members of BPD Vice Unit, Lower Baltimore City Liquor Board, were utilizing BPD Cadet Clado who was under the legal age of legal drinking age of 21. Cadet Clado was given a $20 bill, which was marked by photograph prior to any investigation. At this time, we sent Cadet Clado into 2448 North Charles Street, which is known to the writer as Cena Wines and Liquors. Once inside, Cadet Clado met with server, who was later identified as Christina Bastola. Cadet Clado asked for a 375 milliliter fireball. At that time, Bastola handed Cadet Clado 375 milliliter bottle of fireball in exchange for the departmental $20 bill. At that time, Cadet Clado notified your writer and members of the liquor board of the alcoholic drink being purchased. We then entered the location, and the server was identified by Detective Greenhill, Agent Chris Malice, and Detective Greenhill advised Christina Bastola that he had served alcohol to an underage police cadet. Furthermore, your writer, Detective Gado, advised that a copy of these events will be forwarded to the Baltimore City Liquor Control Board. Alcoholic drink was left with the night manager. All events occurred in Baltimore City.
Do you have anything to add?
No, sir.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a, sale to minor on September 13, 2018. What's the maximum, Mr. Akras, for a first offense?
For a sales to minor, first offense is $1,000.
I'd impose a $1,000 fine and give them 30 days to pay.
I too find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on September 13, 2018, and I concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine and 30 days to pay.
I find a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on September 13, 2018, would concur with the imposition of a $1,000 fine. However, I would also make them pay the fine within 3 business days.
That's fine with me.
Okay, let's make it unanimous. 3 days. Thank you.
I'd call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Gado. Board Exhibit 2, investigation report, Agent Chris Malice.
Okay. Let's recall the other case then.
Recalling Lisa Ireland and Thomas Malinowski, PP&G Incorporated, trading as Norma Jeans, 10 Custom House Avenue. There's a Class BD7 Beer Wine Liquor License and a Class AE Adult Entertainment License. Violation of Adult Entertainment Rule 3.02B, entrances and exteriors of premises, October 17, 2018. And a violation of Alcoholic Beverage Rule 4.16, illegal conduct, October 17, 2018.
Your name, ma'am?
Lisa Ireland.
Okay. Can you both raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
I thought you had left.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees.
Okay. Is this going to be admission or denial?
Denial.
Okay. So your name, sir, please?
Yeah, my name is Sergeant Gregory Ostrander, Baltimore Police, Central District.
Gregory?
Yes.
Okay. Sergeant, you want to tell us what happened on October 17th?
Yes, on October 17, 2018, at approximately 21:32 hours, I was supervising a working uniform patrol in full uniform. Previous to that time, I was driving around the block and I noticed that the doors were open on Norma Jeans. So I later parked on the 400 block of East Baltimore Street. I exited my vehicle. I walked down Custom House and I observed Norma Jeans, 10 Custom House, with the doors propped open. At that time, I activated my body-worn camera, which had the footage of the incident right here. I walked towards the incident. Both doors, the outer door on the right-hand side facing the establishment and the indoor on the left-hand side was propped open. From the street, I observed activity inside the bar. I went to the bar, I spoke with the bartender, asked to speak with the manager, and then I notified her of the violation.
Okay, and were they cooperative?
Yes, they were.
Okay. Do you have questions for the officer?
I do. Officer, you indicate that you brought a DVD or a DVR of your body cam?
I did.
Okay. Are you able to play that here today?
I can if they have this computer available.
I didn't know that. Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last thing.
I said I didn't know he had a DVR.
Oh. Well,
Do we have a laptop?
I don't. No.
I do, but is it just a it's a DVD?
It's just the video.
I'm not sure if I have the DVD player.
I don't know. Did you have any other questions while we're waiting?
Yeah, well, I guess once we see a picture of the doors, but let me ask you, you're familiar with Norma Jean's, it's part of your,
Yeah, I'm the supervisor for the area.
okay. And when you talk about the front doors, there are double doors on the exterior?
Yes.
And there are double doors in the interior?
Yes.
Inside the vestibule?
Yes.
And there is a approximately 4-foot vestibule?
Yes.
Okay. And the doors are glass?
Yes.
And they're tinted glass?
They are.
Can you see through the doors if they're closed?
If they are closed, no.
Okay. It's only if the doors are open?
Correct.
Okay. Are you indicating that both of the exterior double doors were open or just one?
No. Just one on the, on the outside door, so you're facing the establishment, the right-hand door is propped open.
Okay.
Then as you walk in through the vestibule, the inner door on the left-hand side was propped open.
Okay, so you got an open right hand on the outside and an open left on the inside. Okay. And when you're indicating that you could see inside the premises?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Did you observe adult entertainment?
As there motion inside, I know the dancers walk around, so I saw activity inside the establishment.
Okay, but did you actually see adult entertainment being performed?
You mean on stage?
Yes.
No, I didn't see it from the street, no.
Okay. Now, when you said you could see through with the one door closed and the one door open, is that once you're inside the vestibule, or is that from out on the sidewalk or the street?
Out on the sidewalk and street.
Okay. So, at your vantage point, if you're standing, you were on the sidewalk?
Oh, I was on the sidewalk across the street.
Okay, and what could you see if you were on the sidewalk across the street?
You can see inside the club.
You could see inside the club, but what could you see? The street is
It
whatever,
depends on what's
many
going
feet.
on through that point of view.
Okay. Are you familiar with the interior of the premises?
I am.
Okay, and the stage it's not directly in front, or it's not immediately adjacent to the front door, right?
It's to the right.
It's to the right, and how far back?
I don't know, I didn't measure.
15 feet, 20 feet?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. All right, so you're saying that what you could see from outside was movement,
That's correct.
but not,
I think you already testified to that.
okay. All
Do
right.
you need to see this video,
I
or?
would love
do
to
you-
see the video.
I don't know where it is. Oh, we don't have any capacity to show it, okay.
Okay, no further questions.
Thank you, Sergeant. Do you have testimony you want to present?
I'll make a motion and submit, and then,
Go ahead and make your motion.
okay. I move to dismiss the charge for, to pull this up on my, sorry about that.
I don't have 416.
Okay. 3.02B, I believe, is charged. Entertainment not to be visible from exterior. The conduct of adult entertainment may not be visible at any time from the exterior of the premises.
I'm sorry, what are you reading?
Adult entertainment rule 3.02, entrances and exterior premises. B, entertainment not to be visible from exterior. Is that the proper charge?
Well, it's charged with, oh, you're right, that is what he's charged with, okay.
Right.
Okay.
As opposed to the
Oh,
enclosed
under-
vestibule.
Yeah, if it had been charged under A, I think we've got the doors open, but under B, we don't have evidence that the adult entertainment was visible. Unless my colleagues disagree, I would grant the motion to dismiss the first violation.
I concur.
Mr. Hafey?
Just reviewing the rule again. concur.
Okay, so the first violation is dismissed. How about the 4.16 violation?
I think that's just the liquor board rule bootstrap of the first one, so if the first one falls,
It does appear that way.
fall.
Do the commissioners disagree?
I do not disagree.
I do not disagree.
Okay, I would dismiss them both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Ostrander.
Is that our docket?
That concludes our afternoon docket.
Thank you very much.
Board will be in recess until November 29th.